I can hear you,
All right.
sir.
Hello, everyone. All right. Welcome to today's conversation. Welcome to today's meeting, today's masterclass. Anything that you want to call it, welcome to today's conversation. All right. So we are going to be discussing a very, very important topic on why you struggle to land a proper job in the UK, US, or Canada. All right. And if you're just joining us and you know people that this session is going to be very, very, very valuable to, please feel free to share the link to this exact class with them and also your friends, your family members, anyone that you know that the conversation we'll be having tonight will be very, very beneficial. So please feel free to share the link to this exact meeting with them. Okay, before we jump right into our discussion for today, I would love to know you and where you are joining us from. All right, so I would love to know you and where you are joining us from. So just feel free to type in your name and the location of where you are joining us from so that we'll get to know each other and jump right into the discussion that we have for today. Okay, let's get it started. I can't see any comments yet in the chat box. All right, so I'd love to know you, your name, and where you're joining us from so that we'll be able to have a very, very interactive conversation tonight. All right, I can see Omo from Canada. All right, it's good to have you on the call, Omo. All right, I can see Tinu from Atlanta. I can see Chibike from Nigeria. I can see Joseph from UK. I can see Nana from Ghana, Seni from UK, Damilola from Russia. Amazing. I think this is the first time. Okay, it should not be a first time. This should be like a second time having someone join from Russia. Amazing. And we have Sadiq from Nigeria, Kalistus from UK, Uche from United Kingdom, Tarif from Abuja, Samuel from Nigeria, Abdullah Akintobi from Nigeria, Annie from Nigeria, Christabel Nigeria, Chinwere Nigeria, Abdul from Sweden, May Nigeria, and every other person that is typing their name. Fantastic. It's good to have you all on this call tonight. So we're going to have a very, very interactive discussion. Okay, it's going to be a conversation that will drive for us to understand why we struggle to land a proper job in the UK, US, or Canada. Okay, so I also love to know if today is the first time that you are joining any of our sessions. Right? If you've been in any of our sessions before now, please just comment any number. But if today is your first time, just type in a 1 or any number that you place. Okay, but if you've been here before, type a different number. But if today is your first time, please, I would love to see a 1 so that it also guide me on how we're going to have this discussion that we have for tonight. Okay, so okay, I can see a couple of ones dropping. Amazing. Means that we have a lot of people that today is the first time that they are joining our conversation. I promise you it's going to be a very fantastic one. So make sure that you have your pen and paper, right? So that you'll be able to write down things that we're going to be talking about that is going to be very, very instrumental for you come 2025. Okay, so we're going to jump into our discussion for today. But before we start, please ensure that you fill the attendance form, all right? So that by the end of this discussion, we'll be able to send the slide that we're using for this conversation and also the recording of the class itself. Maybe along the line, you may drop off, call might enter, distractions will come in. Please, if you fill the attendance form, it means that by the end of the conversation, we are going to share the slide that we're using and also the recording of this exact class. Okay, so we're going to jump right into the discussion for today. But before we start, who exactly is organizing this meet and greet or this master class or conversation, as I love to call it? So we are 10Analytics. Okay, we are 10Analytics, and we are the leading educational technology company that is focused on helping people of the Black community to break into the tech industry. Right. So our mission is simple: to help as many people as possible to move from their current state into the tech ecosystem. And for the last 4 years, we've helped over 2,000 people transition from our classroom into getting jobs in UK, US, Europe, Canada, Africa, and of course, Asia. And we have a couple of courses that we do to help people to transition, right? We have data analytics, we have business analysis, we have data engineering, we have data science, financial analytics, HR analytics, agile project management, that's Scrum Master, and cybersecurity, and then soon to come AI engineering. And how do we do this? It's basically by bringing experts facilitators from amazing companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon to come to classroom to teach our students using project-based model, right? So it's not a class where you come in and you are learning using theoretical approach, you are learning using project-based model to enable you have a real-life experience of what it feels like to be a data analyst. And these are things that we do in the classroom to help our students to be able to move from the classroom into landing their first roles. Okay, and if you can see my screen, you can also see that we recently got into the Alberta Catalyzer program. And this is basically a program where we are trying to learn more for us to be able to grow and scale so that we can be able to provide more support to as much people as possible. All right, so you can click on the link there to read more on our journey recently with respect to the Alberta Catalyzer Velocity program. Okay, so for you to have access to this, remember, you need to fill the attendance form so that by the end of this conversation, we would share the slide that we're using for this class and also the recording with you so they can be able to go through it on your own and have experience of everything that we talked about. And who exactly am I that is, I've been speaking since 8 p.m. West African time. So my name is Chukwemeka, and I'm a technology consultant with close to a decade of experience in GRC, that's governance, risk and compliance, and of course, strategic consulting. And I am the CEO of Analytics, and I've helped over 1,000 individuals without any technical background into moving into the tech ecosystem, right? I have experience in the banking sector, governance, risk and compliance, in the fintech ecosystem, head of control, in the fintech as well as a data analyst, and of course, a business consultant in the hospitality sector. I've worked across a couple of sectors, financial services, capital markets, hospitality, and of course, now educational technology sector. You can follow me across the social platforms on LinkedIn, Chukwemeka Ekpa, on Twitter, Emeka_highest, and on Instagram, Ekpa_Chuk, so that we can continue the conversation from there also. All right, so what are we going to be discussing tonight? What are we going to be touching base tonight? So first, we are going to talk about why we all struggle to land a job. Okay, what's the reason why we struggle to land a job? You see someone that is already a master's degree holder in data analytics, in big data, in AI, but they still struggle to land jobs. So why is that so? All right, and we'll also walk you through the pathway to becoming a tech professional and securing a job. Then we'll talk about the Analytics Growth Internship Program. And then lastly, we'll have an amazing discount for you by virtue of you being on this call tonight. Okay, so please walk with me and hold your pen and paper. Like I said before, it's a very interactive class, and I want all of us to be as responsive as possible so that it will help to drive the discussion that we are going to be having tonight. So we're going to be starting off, all right? So how many of us on this call at the beginning of the year made a resolution that, oh, this year I'm going to get into the tech industry? How many of us made that New Year resolution that by January 2024, I would break into the tech industry? I just want to ask, how has the journey been so far for you? Oluwadarasi, oh, I hope I didn't murder your name. I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, Simi said that she made the decision to break into tech. And Simi, have you been able to break into the tech ecosystem? Right? So if you made the decision early this year that you want to get into the tech industry, I want to ask if you've been able to make that bold step into breaking into the tech industry, right? Because what I noticed that happened over a period of time is that when we have resolution is very cheap. The most important thing is, how do we now keep to our word? What makes you to make sure that you keep that your word? For instance, me personally, early last year, I said, okay, 2024, I am going to walk into the gym, right? I'm going to start gymming. January passed, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, I didn't step one single foot inside the gym until late October. That's when I know how to enter the gym. So there are a couple of us that also made that kind of decision earlier last year that, oh, I'll get into the tech industry 2024, all right? And we just have roughly 38 days to the end of 2024. And some of us have not been able to make that exact switch. All right, so the next thing that we have now is 2025 is coming. And some of us are already, buckling up in our mind. We're already saying, oh, by 2025, I want to get into the tech industry. I want to be a data analyst. I want to be a data engineer. I want to get a better job. All right, so if you are planning to get a better job by 2025, The best time to sow the seed is right now. Okay, the best time to sow the seed is right now, because once you're able to sow that exact seed, by 2025, you're already 38 days ahead of every single person that will be making the decision to move in by next year, right? So if there's any plan you have, there's nothing like a perfect time. Oh, I'm going to do it by January 1st. I'll do it by Q1. I'll do it by Q2. I'm going to do it by Q3. The most perfect time, the best time for you is always that time when you make up your mind. It doesn't have to be a rounded figure. It doesn't have to be a perfect time like a 1 or a Q1 or a Q2 or a half year or beginning of the year. It is the time that you decide to make your decision. It can be 32nd or no, there's nothing like 32nd. It can be, let's say, 22nd of December. It can be 23rd of November. It can be 7th of December, all right? It doesn't have to be a perfect time for you to say, I'm going to do this, right? And what I'm trying to drive at is, if you have plans, if you have intentions to do some things by 2025, I want you to ask yourself one question. What exactly is stopping me from doing it now? Right? What exactly is stopping me from doing it now? I was speaking with a friend that mentioned to me that about Bitcoin, right? And you know, a couple of us got into crypto earlier on, and then along the line, people didn't get in. But right now that Bitcoin is now making the wave, a lot of people are now trying to enter the ecosystem. And you agree with me that they are already buying it up. And that's the same way that the tech ecosystem also flows. By January, you're going to hear a couple of noise. Oh, I want to do this. I want to get into the tech industry. Tech is next big thing. But the best time to break in is right now that everyone is already trying to round off. Everyone is already tired of the year. They're now waiting for next year. So when you join in this early, by next year, you're already positioned to start looking for possible jobs out there. So we're going to talk about reasons why we actually struggle with respect to landing roles. And number one reason why we all struggle to land roles is because we chase certifications rather than the skills and experience. Okay, so as people from African descent, there's always this push for us to acquire as much certifications, as much degrees as possible without getting the skills and the experience that backs it up, right? And this is one reason. This is I don't want to call it the only reason, but it is the most crucial reason why we all struggle to land a role. You see here on this call right now, when we are done, people are still going to ask me, oh, so what certifications do we give, right? But the most important thing that you need to do and you need to know is that if you are trying to get into the tech industry, certification should be the second thing on your mind. It shouldn't be the first thing, right? It's just like you, when you want to push a cart, all right? You don't put the cart before the horse, right? It's always the horse in front, and then the cart is behind it with all those loads that it's meant to carry. That's the only way that it is going to move. But at any point that you put the cart before the horse, the cart can never move, okay? And that's what we are doing. So if you are pursuing certificates instead of the skills and the experience first, you cannot move, right? And what it relates to is that you are simply going to struggle to land a job. Okay, so I'm still going to break down on how you can be able to, break out of this exact jinx. How do you make up for all those skills and experience, right? So make sure that you note all these things down. We struggle because one, we chase certifications rather than the skills and experience that we need for this to happen. Right, so I'm just going to ask one question this earlier on, right? If you have a car, right, you have a car and your car broke down, then you've met the first person said, oh, I have a degree from Harvard University, mechanical engineering. Bring your car, let me repair it for you. And then there's another person else, the guy said, oh, I don't have a degree, but this is my mechanic workshop. I've repaired Aston Martin, I've repaired Benz, I've repaired Volkswagen, I've repaired Toyota. Bring your car, let me repair it. Who are you going to give your car to? Right? So let me gauge our own understanding of how all this works. Right? You have a car and your car spoils. One person is saying, oh, I have a degree from Harvard University, mechanical engineering. Bring your car, let me repair it for you. The other person is saying, oh, I don't have any degree, but I have repaired Aston Martin, I've repaired Benz, I've repaired Toyota, I've repaired Volkswagen. This is my mechanic workshop. Whom are you going to give your car to repair for you? I can't see any answers in the chat box. Are you sure that people are following me in this exact conversation? Okay, I can see Millicent. Millicent said, the one with a shop, amazing. Annie said, the mechanic with experience. Omar said, experienced one, fantastic. Can see only 3 responses out of close to 150 people on this call. Okay, so you guys have to talk to me for me to be sure that we are having a proper conversation tonight. Okay, I can see others. Almost said experience. Kingsley mentioned the person with the mechanic workshop. Tina, the later. Olivia mentioned the experienced one. George, experienced one. Fantastic. The person with the shop. I go with the guy with workshop, experienced one. Fantastic. So why exactly are we all pursuing certification? All right. So this is a question I have to now throw out there for everyone on this call. Why exactly are we pursuing certification instead of the skill and experience? Okay, what do we intend to achieve? Right? And you may not be able to answer it, but I want you to ask yourself that exact question. Why am I pursuing this certificate instead of getting the skills and experience? Right? Certificate is very, very important. Don't get me wrong. It is important, but there are things that are actually more important than it, especially if you are looking to land a job. Skills and experience are the first thing that you need. Glory said, because it seems like without certificate, you can't get a job to get experience. Fantastic. I love that response, Glory. Because without certification, you can't get a job to get the experience that we are talking about, okay? So Glory accepts that experience is important. But for her to get that experience, she needs to get the certification so that she can get a job to be able to get experience. Amazing. So Glory, we are going to break down to you how you can bring in all these before those certifications, okay? And for everyone on this call, we're going to break it down to you how you can be able to achieve this, right? Because most of the times, I mean, everybody on this call, I'm sure that will apply to job one way or the other, all right? Because most time when you apply to a job, you're going to see, I want someone with this experience. I want someone with so experience, Power BI, SQL, 1 year working on projects, and so on and so forth. So how do you intend to get that experience without getting a job that will allow you to get the experience? I don't know if you understand the picture we're painting, right? So recruiters are looking for people that have the skill and the experience. But for you to get the skill and the experience, you need a job. So how do you get the job when they're asking for those experience? So these are things that we are going to talk about. Milton said, and a lot of job description, we even add certification as criteria. Fantastic, fantastic. Certificate justify that you have gone through some learning structure that enables you to get experience. Fantastic also, Pius. It's an evidence that you are educated from Maduka Ngozi. Fantastic. We all have amazing submissions, okay? Like I mentioned, certification is necessary. It is important. And we're going to also go through a couple of jobs out there and see what they're also asking for, right? Number 2 is you join training programs that are not project-based and they don't have internship, right? So most of us here, I'm sure one way or the other, because of the noise surrounding tech, we've gone to do a couple of courses somewhere. We've done things online, YouTube, Coursera, Udemy, and so on and so forth. But we don't have project-based experience to back it up. Okay, we don't have project-based experience to back up things that we've learned, right? So the tech ecosystem is a technical area. It is fully technical. There's nothing theoretical about it, right? So if you are sitting one place and reading through something, okay, and say you are certified data analyst, then it is something that is not really right. Okay, so when you want to learn, there is need for you to also have project backup, because these are things that is going to help you with respect to building up your own experience that recruiters are looking for, right? Number 3, or number 4 rather, is that you don't have employability skills, right? You don't have employability skills. Okay, if I ask on this call, how many of us see posting on LinkedIn as cringe? You're going to hear and, see what people will say. Okay, so I had a friend a couple of days ago that mentioned to me that, oh, posting on LinkedIn is so cringe and all this. And I was surprised. I mean, how do you want to get a job? How do you want to get into somewhere and you are invisible? I mean, someone said to me a couple of years back that I'm too poor to be invisible, right? And it stuck with me forever. Unless you don't have need for it, okay? Unless you don't have need for it, you don't want to get into somewhere, then you may now decide that you want to be invisible. But if you are looking to get into places, your visibility is important, right? There's nothing mature about saying, oh, I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be posting. I don't want to be on LinkedIn to talk about things that I do. How do you want to land a job? Okay, so I'm going to use So as an example. I mean, he's one of the CEOs, one of the big guys in Nigeria that I know that he's constantly present in all social platforms. So if he that is already at that exact level in his own life can go the extent of doing all the things that he is doing on social media, why can't we that are still trying to even get into places, right? So he is already established. He has conglomerates that he's running, okay? But he's still actively on social medias, actively on LinkedIn, Instagram, everywhere, talking about what he is doing, right? And all of us here, I'm sure that one way or the other we've seen his post. That's Tony Elumelu, right? I'm sure one way or the other we've seen his post. Now, why is it that we that are now trying to even get the little cannot even talk about things that we are doing? But the person that we assume that has already arrived is still constantly out there talking about what he is doing. Okay, so it's important for you to learn how to leverage LinkedIn. Your CV also is a working signboard of you, right? We have a couple of people in the tech ecosystem that they are very, very technically inclined. But when you ask them, okay, everything that you know in your head, put it down on a piece of paper called CV. They are not able to do that, right? And this is also a challenge while we struggle. And also things like interview prep sessions, some of us don't know how to structure and answer questions when it comes to interviews. This is also another reason why we struggle. But we are going to demystify how we can handle all this tonight, okay? And also possibly you don't know how and where to apply to jobs, okay? We always assume, oh, it's just LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn, easy apply, easy apply, easy apply. It doesn't cut it for you, right? With one CV, yeah, you're doing easy apply, easy apply. That's the same way the ATS, you're just going to be bouncing your CV one after the other because you didn't even have time to tailor your CV to the job that you are going for. So these are the main reasons why we all struggle to land a job. And if you can consciously control these 5 reasons, trust me, in the next 3 months, you will have a job. If you don't have a job, then that means that something is wrong somewhere. But if you are able to mark out all these 5 things here, in the next 3 months, by the ending of Q1 of 2025, you should be able to have a job, right? So over the couple of years, we've had people that have been able to make this exact move, right? And this is to tell you that it is 100% possible, okay? Someone like Abigail moved from being a care worker in Canada to working as a business analyst with the government of Alberta, okay? And this is to tell you that it is 100% possible from being a carer to business analysis, okay? Toyin also made the same move. Toyin used to work as a pharmacist, and currently she's working as a benefit analyst after finishing her own data analytics job training, okay? And currently she's working with NHS with full visa sponsorship. Ramat, on the other hand, moved from being a customer success officer to landing a role also as a business architect in UK after completing her own program. Same thing with Muhyiddin. Muhyiddin, after also finishing his own training, he got a remote option with BBX in the UK, all right? And same thing with Abdrashid, who is also presently still residing in Nigeria, but is working for Child 420 in the US. Now, this is to tell you that it is possible, okay? There are a couple of myths that most times we always say, okay, this is the reason why I've not been able to land job. And we're also going to look at all of them, all right? I know all those couple of myths that we always think about. And number one is that it is not possible, right? So I want you to realign that it is not possible to it is possible, right? This is not a motivational speech, sort of. But that's the reason why I had to show you people that have been able to make that move. So that you see that it's a fact that it is possible for you to move from where you are at the moment into the next big thing. All right. And number two thing is that we always mention, oh, you need a UK experience. Oh, you need a Canadian experience. You need US experience. You need all those experiences. Now, on this call alone, we have people that joined from over 10 countries. Over 10, we have someone from Russia, from South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Canada, US, UK. A lot of countries are here. Now, does it mean that for you to work in any of these places, you need the location experience for that exact place, right? Now, the answer is you don't need a UK experience, right? What you need is simply an experience, right? You don't need a Canadian experience. What you need is an experience. Same thing with any location that you are joining from. And I'm going to show you how that is possible, right? And another aspect is that people always mention, oh, they won't hire blacks, okay? And the answer to it is also that tech is a global scale, okay? It is a global scale. So I'm just going to ask us one question right now. When people mention all this, oh, you need this experience, they will not take blacks, black this, black that. Who is the president of what's it called? World WTO, yeah, World Trade Organization. Do we know who the lady is? This class is very, very dry. Okay, Kunda said yes. Kunda, what's the lady's name? Okay, that recently also, she was unopposed for a second term in this exact role. Fantastic, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Now, why exactly is she there? Why exactly is she there? Imagine she went for a second term without any opposition anywhere. All right, she went for a second term without any opposition anywhere. It's simply competence, right? It's simply competence to the highest order. Now, when people mention that they won't hire you because you are black, this is us trying to justify reasons why we didn't get in. All right, we're just trying to justify reasons why we didn't get it. So we're giving ourselves all those reasons for us to think, oh, this is the reason why they didn't take me. This is the reason why they didn't hire me. Instead of us to look for ways to make sure that we get in. Okay, so whenever you think that you need a UK experience, you need a Canadian-based experience, and no matter where you're joining us from, that you need that location-based experience, what you simply need is an experience. Okay, so just write it somewhere. You don't need UK experience, you need an experience. The next thing, that they're not going to take you because you are a black, see it that it is competence that is going to get you there, right? Nobody is going to take someone that is incompetent for a role. But once you are fully competent, you are going to even get that role unopposed, right? For someone to be the president of World Trade Organization, we know how huge that is. And that is to tell you that you need an experience. Okay, I think Luca said, I don't need UK experience, but an experience. Fantastic, fantastic. I love that. So if there's one mantra that you're leaving this conversation with tonight, just know that you don't need this exact location-based experience. What you need is an experience. And tech is a global scale. The Excel you practice in Russia is the same Excel you practice in Jamaica. It's the same Excel that you practice in France. It's the same Excel that you're going to practice in UK, US, or Canada. And the same thing that you practice in Africa, right? So recently, there is these clients that reached out to Rust Analytics to help them with data analysis, and they are French speaking. Now, this is to tell you that it is not even about your location, right? They are French, they came from a French speaking country. They reached out to us to help out with data analysis. Now, this is to tell you that it is also possible. What we simply have to do is now start looking for a French speaking data analyst that is now going to help us, because that is what we need. Someone that will be able to converse easily with them. But that's to tell you that experience and competence is the most important thing that you need. And for this that we just mentioned now, I hope that we've been able to shift our mindset a little bit from it is not possible to it is possible. You need UK experience to need an experience. and they won't hire you because you're Black. See it that if you have the skill and competence, tech is a global skill, and you can definitely get into any of those places. Now, how can you get there? What are the 3 things that you need to do today? All right. Number 1 is you need to learn. All right. You need to learn. Most importantly, we always sometimes lie to ourselves that I know this, but do we really know it? Are we really competent in that exact thing that we say that we know? For instance, you want to be a data analyst, but do you know how to use Excel? Do you know how to use Power BI? Do you know how to use SQL? Do you know how to use Tableau? Now, if you don't have all those tool knowledge, how exactly do you want to get in? You want to be a data scientist. You don't know how to do machine learning. You don't know how to use computer vision. How do you want to get into that exact sector? You want to be a business analyst, but you don't know how to do process mapping. You don't understand agile. You don't understand software development life cycle. How do you want to get into that exact sector? So the first thing that we need to do is to learn. All right. The second thing is now for you to be able to package yourself. Someone was mentioning to me that if you go to LinkedIn, you see a lot of packaging. Now, when you meet those people in real life, you say, you see this person that is posting on LinkedIn the way he is posting. Now, that is also part of packaging. You need to be able to present yourself in a manner that is rich. You need to be able to do all those things. Once you've gone through learning a particular track, next thing for you is package, and that's where we talk about employability. Okay, and the last one is apply. This is also where some people fall off. Application. Applying to a job is a job on its own. Okay, if you are applying to a job, you have to treat it as a job on its own. I was reading a survey last 2 weeks, and it mentioned that for you to land one job interview in a month, you need to apply to 27 jobs in a day. Now, this is from a survey that a company carried out. For you to land one interview in a month, you need to apply to 27 jobs in a day. This is to show you how hard and how you need to be able to treat applying to jobs as a job. Now, once you're able to do these 3 things, learn, package yourself, and apply, you are already on the line to landing your first job. Okay, but the challenge now is that most of us jump into number 3, application. Right? Some of us will jump straight into applying to roles without first learning the in-demand skill, packaging ourselves, and then applying. Some start from number 2. We package ourselves for mentorship and we go to that place and speak big grammar. But for any tech role we are going for, there will always be what we call technical assessments. So even if you package so well, you'll still be assessed with respect to the skills that you have. You'll still be assessed with respect to the skills that you have. Okay, how can someone do without? Okay, I will answer all the questions. So if you have any question, please just write it down. By the time that we are done discussing, we'll answer all those questions. Okay, so next one is, let me just also ask us a question. I know I've talked about skills and competence. What do we have to say about this exact person? Now, you are locked up somewhere, there is food, and there is key to that exact place. All right, which one are you going to choose? Let's be honest to ourselves. All right, you're locked up in a house or a prison, and there is food, and you've not eaten for days. There is food and there is key. Which one are you going to pick? We are all saying key. We are all saying key. Well, that's also part of, being true to ourselves. There's a way that hunger is going to wind you. You don't know when you pick food. You don't know when you're going to pick food. I'm happy that some people are actually picking food because it is the truth. I mean, when you move newly to all these locations, when you move newly to UK, US, or Canada, you agree with me that even though we know that tech, all those skills are very necessary, instantly, we are looking for all those jobs that we can easily grab, all right? And this is a fact, right? We are looking for those ones that we can easily grab, like, okay, let me get into warehouse, let me get into manufacturing, let me get into care, let me get into, different things that is going to give us food at that very moment. But if you are looking for a long-term thing, that is where you have to now look for the key. And it is the perfect truth. Okay. So Precious mentioned that you have to survive first. Okay. You need to survive first. And it is the truth. We all need to survive for us to even think about the long term. But that is where your plan comes in. Okay. A couple of us have moved, some have not moved, and some will still move later. I was speaking to a friend that's supposed to move by December. And I told the guy that if you're planning to move this December, the best thing you can do right now is to start looking for skills that you're going to get. Because by the time you get to UK, first thing you're going to think of is survival. And at that stage, you are going to take up things that is going to take up your time, and it will not be hard for you to get the key. Okay. Now, once you're already taking the food and you are eating the food, because your hand is occupied, you can't stretch it again to get the key. It will require you to, at a point, to drop the food and look for the key. And that's where the challenge comes for everybody. For every single person, this is where we struggle also. So I always advise people to make a plan that even though I'm going for this food, I'm going to eat it 3 times. I'm going to drop it and then look for the key and start looking for the key. If I can't find the key, I'll come back, eat again, and continue looking for the key. Now, once you don't have this plan, that's how you will end up eating the fish that you've been given instead of knowing how to fish. Okay, so I know I mentioned a couple of jobs out there that will require you and things that you need to land those exact jobs, right? So let's look at first data science. Now, I know a lot of people that they are doing masters in this, masters in that. It is amazing. But let's look at what is required for these jobs that we saw for data scientists on read.co.uk. All right. You're going to see number 1 is strong understanding of programming to analyze data sets, Python or R. Number 2, knowledge of core machine learning and data science principles. Okay. Number 3, learning quickly and identifying solutions. Number 4, effective communication to technical, non-technical audience. And 5, coaching and developing junior team members. Now, the skill that these guys need is simply machine learning, data science principles, and Python or R. Okay, there is no place that they mention that we need someone with PhD in this. Same thing for data analysts, all right? You're going to see what for data analysts, they are also looking for someone with sound knowledge of data manipulation and visualizations, all right? Worked within a similar role with a 3PL logistics environment. Adept at queries, that's structured query language. And then lastly, experience with warehouse management systems would be an asset, but not essential. Now, the tools that these guys are looking for is simply Tableau, Power BI, and SQL. Now, this Beyond that they mentioned here would be an asset because it is an industry tool that they are using. You can't easily learn beyond that if you are not already in this exact logistics sector, right? So that is simply how all these things are, okay? And then if you look at cybersecurity, you're going to see that they also want the same thing, strong understanding of this, network security protocols, and then including ISO standards and AWS Security Hub. And then they're looking for hands-on experience with firewalls, intrusion detection systems, data encryption, okay? Skilled in using risk assessment tools and technologies, and the rest of them. Now, these are things that these guys are looking for. There's no place we can go to the job that we got this from. It's from read.co.uk that they said, I need someone with masters in this. Are there jobs that will actually say, I need someone with those things? There might be, but majority of jobs in the tech ecosystem, they are not going to ask you for all those certifications, especially for data science, data analytics, all those career paths they're looking for. Cybersecurity might, on a later stage, ask you for certification, but to get into that exact sector, you do not need all those things. All right. So even all the other career paths, we'll not be able to look at all the jobs out there. But for business analysis also, you can see what they require is requirements gathering. Do you have knowledge of requirements gathering? Do you understand how to perform data analysis? Do you know how to do process improvements? Can you do documentation? Do you know how to do stakeholder communication? And of course, project management. These are things that they need for a business analyst. For data engineer, they also require tools that are specific to that exact sector. And this is simply to tell you that for you to get into any of these career paths, all you simply need is the skill and the competence. I think someone mentioned that they were logged off. Please make sure that you fill the attendance form so that by the end of this discussion, we'll send the slide and also the recording of this class to you. So if you drop off at any point, it won't be a challenge for you. Okay, make sure you fill the attendance form. Now, this is to tell you that what you need is simply the skill and competence. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on because we have a lot of grounds to cover today. Now, next is, but how then do you build the experience needed without a job? Okay, I know someone mentioned they will need certification to get a job so that they can get the experience that is required. Okay, so how then will you be able to walk through all these places for you to get access to those jobs? Let's look at it. First is you need projects and portfolio. All right, project and portfolio. There is nothing else that you need for you to land a job aside projects. Once you have the skill and competence, what is going to now show is what is the evidence that you have all those things. All right, I know someone said that certification is an evidence also, but certification alone is not evidence enough, which is why they will still give you a skill-based assessment. Okay, no matter any path that you're trying to enter in the tech industry, your technical level must be assessed. And that's to tell you that they don't even believe in your certificate. Because if they believe that your certificate is an evidence that you know it, they're not going to ask you for, or they're not going to ask, okay, come, let's carry out a test to know what you know. But they are giving you technical assessments because we all believe that certification is just certificates. It's just there, really. I mean, if you're on LinkedIn and you're active, a couple of guys may have reached out to you and they said, oh, we can help you write your CISA, we can help you write your CISM, we can help you write your CAH. All you have to do is to just simply sit down in front of the screen that day, and we're going to do everything from the back end. And if they are reaching out to us to do these things for us, do you think that recruiters are not aware that people can also be able to do all these things? Okay? Do you think recruiters are aware? Now, that is to tell you that certificates is just there, but you need projects and portfolio. Now, let me walk you through the portfolio of this exact person that did data analysis with us. Right? Let me walk you through the certificate of this person that did data analysis with us. Once you click on this portfolio here, please make sure that you fill the attendance form so that you can have access to all these portfolios that is here. Once you fill this, once you click on that exact link, it's going to bring you to this individual's portfolio. All right, and here we are going to see all the projects that Victoria worked on. Okay, even though that she's not in the tech industry yet, before she got into that exact sector, she worked on all these projects, right? She worked on all these projects that I can see from my screen. Now, let's walk with me so that we'll see all of them one after the other. First thing that she worked on is deep care hospital ER visit analysis, all right? And for this exact project, she used Tableau to work on it. Okay, next one she worked on. Oh, wow. Please confirm that you can see my screen. I think my screen just went off right now. Okay, sorry, let me bring it back. Just 1 second, please. It should be up right now. I don't know why it tripped off, but suddenly I can't see my screen. Okay, it should be back any moment from now. Okay, I hope we are still following to this very time. Please, if you're following us to this exact session, just drop in something in the chat box so that I'll be sure that there are people that are still hearing what I'm saying. All right, if you've been following us to this very moment, please just drop in a comment in the chat box so that I'll be sure that you guys have not lost me along the way. Okay, fantastic. I can see a couple of comments dropping in. Fantastic. All right, like I was mentioning, this exact person also worked on Redox Airline flight analysis. She also worked on Express Tech food delivery service. Okay, she worked on Nestle products, and she also worked on Zenith Electronics. Now, when you click on each of them, you'd see what she worked on. And these are 5 different sectors of the economy: health sector, aviation sector, logistic industry, FMCG, and also tech ecosystem. Now, if you are applying to a data analysis role with this exact individual, who do you think they are going to hire? You with a master's degree from University of Hull, or this person that has project-based knowledge from the health sector, experience from the aviation sector, experience from logistics, experience from what's it called, FMCG, and also experience from the tech industry. Who do you think they are going to hire? Let's just be honest. I want to gauge people that will say they will hire themselves, right? Will they hire you, or are they going to hire this exact individual that have had project-based experience in 5 different sectors of the economy? Hire the person with projects. Fantastic, Ismail. Ismail is being very honest. Leila mentioned project-based. Millicent said Victoria indeed. Mohammed, the individual with project-based. Fantastic. Now, the same way we all said that you are going to give your car to the mechanic, that's the same way these recruiters are going to hire this exact individual. Remember, you are the person that have spent possibly 2 years to do a master's in this exact sector. But this person has gone to do a project-based learning for 5 months, for 4 months, and has all those skills, and then can comfortably be able to speak. For instance, if you ask Victoria a question, she can, if you ask, okay, hi, Victoria, tell me about a time in the past where you've been able to work on a health data and how you are instrumental to that exact project. She can speak from a place of experience. Oh, while I was consulting with analytics and worked on the ER hospital visit analysis using Tableau. And from it, I was able to see that we had close to 10,000 patients that visited the ER, and their average years was 40 years. And also we had an average waiting time of 35 minutes. And my core function, my core responsibility is to find a way for us to reduce the average wait time from being 35 minutes to being 15 minutes, okay? And for me to be able to analyze the hourly patient arrival, all the places that we have little time wasted, and we're able to mark it up. And after all this analysis, we're able to improve our average waiting time from 35 minutes to 15 minutes. And this improved the hospital turnover with respect to patients. Now, when Victoria speaks from the place of experience like this, trust me, she has a job. And that's the beauty of project-based learning. So for someone that asked before, how do we get the experience for us to apply to job that will give us the experience? It's simply using project-based model. Remember, this exact person didn't go to school to do a 2-year course or 3 years course. She used 4 months to learn all this project-based model, and she applied it. So the same way she worked on Tableau, she did a project on Excel, she has one on Power BI, and of course, she did one on SQL. So once you ask her questions relating to any of these areas, she can comfortably speak to them from a place of experience. Now, she's not speaking from a place of theoretical understanding. She's speaking from an experience-based perspective. She is speaking from an experience-based perspective. Okay, I think I clicked on the SQL. Now, I can also see how she was able to query the database and bring out data that's already in the database for her to be able to analyze it. So if you ask her questions pertaining to it also, she can comfortably be able to defend what she has done. So let's quickly also look at the portfolio of this business analyst before we move on. All right, let's look at the business analyst before we move on. Now, this is to tell you that for you to land a role, all you need is skill, experience, and evidence to what you've done. So this is also a business analyst She also worked on several projects. She worked on Unilever Canteen ordering system. She worked on Sunshine Resort, British Airways. She worked on ABC Retail, Max Corp, Tech Heaven, as each travel expense. 7 different sectors of the economy. Now, this exact person obviously has experience in all these places. Right? So let me click on one so that we see what she worked on. So when you click on the Unilever Canteen ordering system, you're also going to see the projects that she worked on with respect to this exact activity. Right? I'm going to see everything that she did pertaining to this project. Okay. And their objective is the canteen system is always crowded. There's always rush. People don't get to spend enough breaks before they go back to their jobs. How do we make it better? How do you, as a business analyst, improve the ordering system in that exact place? Right? You can see the problem. First of all, you identify your problem statement, move on to the objectives of things that you want to achieve, and then simply move on to the other analysis that you need to perform. You have instances where you need to do your SWOT analysis, you need to do your stakeholder analysis, you need to also, first of all, build your business case, starting with what are the business problems that you're having? What's the options that you have? What's the benefit? What's the timeline for this exact action? What's the cost? And also the risk and the expected ROI with respect to this exact activity. Then start performing your stakeholder analysis, your RASI metrics, your SWOT analysis. And the most important thing you're trying to do is to improve the existing process in this exact place. The responsibility is, I want to improve the accounting ordering system. But for you to achieve it, it's not simply something you open your eyes and you achieve. You need to build your business case. Now, they've identified the features that exist in those initial process. And this is how it flows. Simply, once it's time for someone to go to the canteen, they decide lunchtime. Is it lunchtime? Yes, leave your workstation and go and queue up for 30 to 25 minutes, and so on and so forth. They realize that it's wasting time, but after they've done all those things, this is now the improved process. Sign up and enroll for payment deduction. Log in and view menu options, select updated menu, place your order before simply decide how you want it to move. Now that new process flow. Now as you, then it's already a challenge. Right? So these are things that you need to have experience doing. You're going to have your sprint planning, sprint 1, identify your user story, move to your acceptance criteria that will show, oh, this is what we want to see. And then push it to the software developers to build. Now, this is to show you that this exact person also has experience with respect to this canteen ordering system that's in the FMCG industry. Now, that's the same way she has experience as a business analyst working in all these other projects in Sunshine Resort, hospitality sector, aviation sector, retail industry, technology ecosystem. C7 is also an electronics industry, and this is a travel agency. So she's had experience with 7 different sectors of the economy. Now, if you are looking to land a job, it's simple. Skill, experience, project. Right? Once you're able to identify that initial one, next one is package yourself and apply. Once you're able to do all these things, like I mentioned, by Q1 of 2024, you should be landing your next job. You should be landing your next job. Okay, so let's move on. Now, can we still see my screen? I think I can't see it from my second device. Please confirm that you can still see my screen, please, so that I'll be sure how I'm navigating, because it's important. I can see. All right, amazing. How come I can't personally see my own screen? Okay, moving on. We'll see the prediction that Robert Half had already made with respect to what is going to happen in 2025. And that's simple. That according to the data that they surveyed, 46% of companies plan to increase salaries by 2025. Right? And the most notable amongst them is the tech and IT sector. And what exactly why are they doing this? Because there is increased demand with respect to people. The competition to hire people is now high, and for them to attract skilled talent, they need to spend more. Now, if you don't position yourself, you will not be able to be part of people that will tap into this exact activity. So, how can we get started? How can we get started? There are simply 6 steps that you can use for you to be able to start up your own journey. Okay, simply 6 steps. And number 1 is to select your desired tech career path. Okay, so before we move on, let me just quickly ask, have we already decided the tech career path that we want to transition through? If you've decided where you want to transition through, also put it in the chat box so that I'll see the couple of places that we have in mind. And then I'll walk us through the areas that are also in high demand, okay? So what's your own desired career path that you want to transition through? What is your own desired career path that you want to transition through? Let's keep it coming. Let me see what we all have in mind. Okay, I can see a couple of chats dropping in. Can see a couple of comments: data analysis, business analysis, digital marketing, cybersecurity, business data, software development or data analysis, facility management, interest in Ezekiel, data science. Okay, someone said my screen is static. Data management, CEH, certified ethical hacker. Fantastic, David. Financial analytics, data engineering, project management. Amazing. I'm glad that a couple of us, we've already selected a career path that we want to transition through. I'm happy that a couple of us have already selected a career path that we want to transition through. Now, for others that have not been able to select a particular career path, I'm going to walk us through all the different viable options out there that you can be able to break into, the ones that are in demand. Okay, the ones that is going to grow in the next coming years, that is not Fidelis. I don't know how you are able to share your screen, but that simply means we didn't turn off host details. Okay. Someone removed me from sharing my screen. Wow. Hi, are you there? Okay, sorry guys, let me remove some access for people that are not hosts. Okay, just a couple of minutes. Let me remove all those access for anyone that is not a host. Okay, if you're not a host, you cannot share screen, you cannot rename yourself, cannot do all these things. So that I'll be sure that it's only me that can do it. All right, so moving on, like I was mentioning, if you are looking to break into the industry, first thing first is for you to identify a career path that you want to transition through. Okay, you need to first of all identify that career path. Number 2, you need to learn the skills. All right, then 3, you need to gain the project-based experience like we've talked about. Okay, project-based experience. And then 4, employability skills. Networking is very, very crucial. And then also mentorship. It is as important as the skill that you are learning. All right, and I'll walk us through how we can all be able to do all this. Okay, so first, which career path do you have access to? Which one can you select? Which one can you decide to go into? Now, from our own side, what we do is that each year we scrape different job boards: LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, Total, CV Library, different job boards that I can think of out there. We scrape them and bring it into our own database. Now, we perform analysis on them using 3 basic things to select, and that's ease of learning, ease of transitioning, and high rewarding salary. Now, all the jobs that were posted for 2023, we looked at them and we analyzed them using 3 basic things: ease of learning, ease of transition. Ease of learning meaning that is it a career path that you can easily, be able to understand. Number 2, Is it a career path that has things that people that are coming from a different background can have transferable skills that they'll bring into it? And the most important one, which is the reason why most of us are in the tech ecosystem, is it a career path that gives you high rewarding salary? Right? So these are three metrics that we use to analyze this data. And that's how we're able to come up with 8 different career paths. Number 1, business analysts. Number 2, agile project managers, the scrum master. Number 3, data analyst. Number 4, data scientists. 5, data engineers. Number 6, cybersecurity. Number 7, financial analysts, and then HR analyst. So these are the 8 career paths that we offer here at Analytics. And that's because we've scraped different job boards. Those are the ones that gave us the ease of learning, ease of transitioning, and of course, high rewarding salary. Now, next thing that we did is all these career paths, they'll be able to be out there in the next future. Is there a career path that I will learn today and tomorrow they will tell me that my job is no more viable? So what we did is that we also looked at the World Economic Forum reports. So, World Economic Forum, the leaders of the economic in different countries come together to look at all these things. And then there is a segment called the Future of Jobs. I advise you that when you get this slide, please go through this Future of Jobs reports. Click on this link and go through it personally. Because if your job is on the right-hand side of this, you are wrong. It means that in the next couple of years, your job will not be in demand anymore. You need to make sure that you move to this left-hand side. If you're on this left-hand side, you are on the right side of history. Now, the number 1 there is AI and machine learning. And I believe that this is not coming as a surprise to anyone on this call. AI has been making a move. Even NVIDIA, that's the highest performing stock this year entirely. And what do? They basically, manufacture all those, chips for AI, for building all those artificial intelligence. And we are not deaf to all these things. We are not blind to it as well. So because of it, AI and machine learning specialists, they are the number 1 job that will always be in demand in the next coming years. The next one you're seeing, let's concentrate on the ones that are colored. You see the next one, business intelligence analysts, and these are the data analysts and scientists. All right, the next red one, we are seeing properly the data analyst and the data scientist. Then the blue one, you'd see information security analyst, which is also a derivative of cyber security. All right. And the green colors, you are now seeing data engineers. All right. You are seeing data engineers, big data specialists. You are seeing the next one, data engineers, and of course, database architects. Then you are seeing the process automation specialists, which are the business analysts. Now, these are jobs that 100% aligns with possible growth in the next future. Now, are there jobs here that is also perfect? For instance, you are seeing jobs like robotics engineer. This is a great career path, robotics engineers, all right? You're also seeing career paths like blockchain developers. Now, this is also an amazing career path, but will they give you the things that we mentioned before, which is ease of learning? Will they give you ease of learning? Will you learn robotics engineering within the next 4 months? That's what may not be possible. Do you have that ease of transitioning? That may not also be possible. Do you have high rewarding salary? It is 100% possible. Now, it's met just one criteria, but it didn't meet the other 2. So you can see the reason why some of these jobs that are going to grow, we are not offering them as well. It's an amazing thing if you can be a blockchain developer. It's an amazing thing if you can be a robotics engineer, but is there a career path that you can easily transition into? Is there a career path that you can easily learn? That's where the question now comes. Now, moving on, you also see other jobs that are going to also grow. That's the second page. This is the ones that are going to grow, and these are the ones that are going to decline. You are seeing the database and network professionals, the same thing as data engineers and cybersecurity. You are seeing the project managers, which are the agile and scrum project managers. And then you are seeing the financial analyst. Someone needs to make sense of the financial data, all right? And then you also see supply chain and logistics analyst. So if you are a compliance officer, if you're an accountant, if you're a telemarketer, if you are a social media strategist, if you are an insurance underwriter, simply means that in the next coming years, your job is going to decline. All right, this is not my saying, it's from the World Economic Forum report. And this is where people that are smart instantly look for ways that they can move from that right side to the main side of jobs and make sure that they are relevant in the next coming years. Now, all these career paths that we selected, it doesn't mean that if you are a data analyst, it's only data analytical roles that you apply to. As a data analyst, you can apply to business intelligence analyst role. It can be a marketing analyst, it can be a sales analyst, it can be a logistics analyst, it can be a supply chain analyst, and so much more. Right? So it doesn't confine you to just being a data analyst. Right? Same thing with other roles. If you are a data engineer, can also be an analyst applied to roles in the analytical engineering space, can be a BI engineer developer, can be Azure cloud engineer, it can be AWS cloud engineer, GCP cloud engineer, and of course, ETL developer, and so much more. So some of us also struggle to land roles because we are only looking for job opportunities using the main heading. I want to be a data analyst, full stop. Right? We're not looking for things like sales analysts. We're not looking for customer analysts. We're not looking for procurement analysts. But they are all the same thing. The difference is just terminology. Because if you're a data analyst in any company, there is a particular segment of functions that you're also performing. Right? But some companies have now been able to streamline it particularly to that exact name, like customer analyst, product analyst, and others. So that means that you should be looking for jobs outside just the main heading. If you're a business analyst, you can also apply to roles as an operations analyst. You can apply to roles as a change management analyst, as an improvement analyst, as a business process analyst, requirements analyst, and so much more. Right? So that's how in all these different career paths, there are different derivatives of jobs that you should be able to apply. So when you get the slide, you can go through it and be able to get accustomed with all the jobs that you can easily on your own apply to. Okay? I hope people are still here with me. Now, when you've already selected the career path you want to transition into, what about GRC in cybersecurity? Fantastic. So GRC is also very, very relevant, governance, risk, and compliance, which is why we said, and so much more. So there are still other particular roles that exist outside these main ones that we've already identified. There are so many derivatives of all these jobs. Most important thing is for you to make sure that you have the understanding of the umbrella. Okay, the understanding of the umbrella. Okay, so moving on, like I said, there are also different ways you should be able to learn this thing. I saw someone that mentioned in the chat box, how can she learn using just a phone? Or she wants to learn, will she be able to use just a phone or something like that? Now, that simply means that you've not prepared fully. All right, so if you want to break into the tech industry, there's high need for you to be able to get ready for it. Okay, because our classes, we use a blended learning approach, which means you have live instructor-led class, that someone is talking to you live in the class, teaching you all those technical skills that you need to have. You have a massive classroom learning. And then you also have a self-paced learning approach. Okay, you have a self-paced into our learning management system. So that also shows how all these things also works. So you have access to live instructor-led class, and then also a blended model of what's it called? You have access to the live classes and then also the self-paced learning approach. Okay, and once you've already part of us, you have access to this learning management system. Every Saturday, you have your live class. Then after it, you also have access to the platform to now watch other videos that is self-paced, that is going to help you have deeper understanding of that exact career path that you are trying to transition through. Okay, you have deeper understanding of that exact career path that you are trying to transition through. Okay, I think my second device just went off again. Okay, so I'm going to bring it back up. Please confirm that you can still hear me. All right, amazing. I think I can still hear myself. Fantastic. So I will bring up my screen again. I bring up my screen. I think I'm going to do this from one screen now because this is not how it's supposed to be. All right. Now, once you have access to this platform, you will be able to access our learning management system. And right there, you can be able to learn on the platform as well. You can be able to learn on the platform. You have the blended learning model, your live instructor-led class, and then your self-paced learning approach. These two things, they are going to make you a full-blown specialist in your own area. And you have lifetime access to the recording of those sessions. Now, for the classes that happened, for the live classes that have happened, you will be able to access them also. All right, so for the live classes that have happened, you'll be able to have the recording of it forever. So it's a lifetime access that you have to those platforms, right? It's a lifetime access that you have to the platform itself. Even if you leave the program, you can always go back to the recorded version of the class and be able to watch it. So what do I mean by that? Any live class that you're having, the same way we're having this interaction, it is also recorded and it will be uploaded to your learning management system for you to also be able to go through it on your own and be able to understand more. So this is to help people that their own learning style may not be as fast as others. All right. So next one is for you to gain the project-based experience. I know I've been very, very elaborate on this, whether you're going to give your car to the mechanic or to the graduates from Harvard, and we already know the answer to this. The most important thing that you need is your portfolio. Now, the next one is employability skills. Remember I mentioned that for you to land role, there are three basic things that you need. You need to learn, you need to package, and you need to apply. Now, we've learned all those things that we need to learn. We've learned all those technical skills. Now, the next one is, how do you package yourself? Most of us also struggle to land roles because we do not have a structured CV. Our CV doesn't show things that we already know, okay? So there is need for you to learn, how do I tailor my CV to the jobs that I am applying to, so that I can easily scale that initial applicants tracking system, okay? For you to scale the ATS, you need to learn, how do you match your CV to the job that you are going for, okay? And next, how do you also remain visible? So I was trying to hire someone for a lead generating role, and what I simply did was that I went to LinkedIn and searched Apollo.io, and it brought out every single person that made a post relating to Apollo.io. And I simply had to headhunt whom I needed and schedule the person for interview. Now, most recruiters do this. Most company executives do this because it's the easiest way for you to know someone that is currently in a space and have learned things. So LinkedIn optimization is also very, very critical. And then how do you also navigate the different job markets that exist out there? Some of us think it's just LinkedIn or it's just well found. There's a lot of job boards out there that we can utilize. There's read.co, there's remove.uk, there is well found, there's LinkedIn, there is Hire Quickly, a lot of it. So what we do in this session is that we bring in expert recruiters back to our classroom to walk our students through the different job boards that they can utilize with respect to landing roles. And then interview prep sessions. When you now land an interview invite, someone is also available to have a mock preparatory class with you. How do you answer those questions that we mentioned, situation-based question? How do you answer question of, okay, hi, Akintobi, tell me about the time in the past where you've been able to work with Power BI with respect to health sector, or so on and so forth. You can speak from a place of experience. While I was consulting with analytics, I was able to work on this data set where I had to analyze a patient's data that they were close to 10,000. And from it, I saw this, I saw that, I saw this. So you answer it using your STAR approach, which is situation, the task that you carried out, the actions, and the results. Okay. And when you land the job, we're also available to give to your recruiters recommendation and reference letters. Okay. Now you see the reason why just learning on platforms may not be sufficient, because there is need for you to show reference and recommendation letters that you've worked in this place. And most of our students, we don't call them students. They are all consultants, right? So you are not training with us. You are consulting with us. And that gives you that experience that you are looking for. And also when you land a job, we are available to provide you on-the-job support for you till you find your feet on that exact role. We also carry out weekly mentorship sessions and Upwork session if you want to be able to play in the contractual services. Now, these are things that we do to make sure that you are able to get a job. Okay, first of all, the technical skills, and then all the employability services that we now provide to you. Now, networking is also very, very critical. It is as important as everything that I've mentioned, which is why it is important for you to be in a community. So just see what happened here. So one of our past students just reached out. I just want to say a very big thank you for providing me with a reference. And then number two, he went on to say, I am still getting offers, but I don't know who I can recommend. If you have anybody who is solid enough that I can recommend in case another comes forth within Scotland area, please send them across my way. And we were able to send 2 students to Anointing Stevens Way. And they were also able to secure those roles. Now, these are the importance of networking and for it to be part of a community. If you also look at this exact slide, you see one of our students first got into this exact company, and then another person also, he made way for another person to also come in. Now, these are things, this is the power of you being in a strong community. If you look at their LinkedIn profile, you see that they worked as a data scientist or analytics consultant. Now, it's not showing that they trained with us. It's showing that they consulted with us. And then you're not seeing the next place that they went to, they now started working in this exact place. So we always advise our students, you are not putting your profile in a way that you are training with us. No, you are putting it in a way that you are consulting and working with us. Next one is mentorship sessions, where we also carry out a couple of mentorship. There are some people that when they start, focus will drop. All right, so we need to walk you through the power of focus. We also talk you through interview simulations where we have simulated interview sessions for everyone. And we have body mentorship where we also bring in past students back to classroom to work students on things and how they were able to navigate it during their own time. So these are different mentorship sessions that we have for people for them to be fully fledged. Now, next one is let's have understanding of all these career paths so that for people that have not been able to select a particular one, in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to walk us through all the different career paths that we have and what it entails. Okay, so I'm going to walk us through it. Now, who exactly is a business analyst? I hope we are still there because I'm about to explain all the career paths so that we can see the one that aligns specifically to us. Please confirm that you are still following me to this very moment because this is very crucial for me to explain each of those career paths for you to understand them better and know the one that aligns to you specifically. Okay, I can see a couple of yes, fantastic. It's always an amazing thing when I see that people are still following me and you are not lost in the whole euphoria. Now, a business analyst is someone that is coming to the company to improve the processes that is existing in that company and make it better. Okay, so you are there to improve the processes that is in that company and make it better. And most important thing you need to understand is process mapping, because you may not be able to improve a process that you don't even understand how the customer journey is. So you are going to be walked through process mapping and all these different parts here. These are the key learning areas that you have. Remember when I showed us a job advert for a business analyst? These are all the things that they require. So you're going to be walked through process mapping. How do you use Draw.io and Lucidchart to build the different mappings of the customer, the different touch points that the customer had? For instance, let's say as far back as 2011, if you walk into a Nigerian bank, then you see a great queue. Once you enter the man trap door, you queue up, get to the teller point, do your transaction, a lot of queue. Now, business analysts looked at this and said, how do we make this better? And that simpler question, that was the advent of the mobile apps, the agency banking, the internet banking, because they're looking for ways to remove people from the banking hall. You're also going to have understanding of project initiation planning, because you are going to be in lots of meetings. Now, as a business analyst, you also serve as the intermediate person between all the stakeholders, between the non-technical stakeholders and the technical stakeholders, which means you are in between the CEOs, the CFOs, all the Cs that exist, and the software developers, the back-end and front-end engineers, and so on and so forth. You are in between them. Your responsibility is to make sure that information flows seamlessly amongst all these people. So you need to have full understanding of project initiation, Agile and Scrum for projects, and also software development life cycle. Okay. Now, as a business analyst, how do you gather your requirements to know what you are building? So you also be walk through requirements fundamentals. And how do you get information from your stakeholders and be able to analyze it? That's where your elicitation method and stakeholder analysis comes in. Now, as a business analyst as well, most recruiters are asking for business analysts that has experience of data. And that is why you will learn Excel, Power BI, and also SQL. Okay, so it may not be as in-depth as the data analysts are going to learn it, but you have an understanding of it for you to be able to understand data on the job as a business analyst. The learning timeline for business analysis is for 4 months, right? You will learn it massively in the classroom for 2 months, and then you have internship experience for 2 months, right? The class holds just on Saturdays, okay? 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, or 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. Okay, so it's one of them. You don't have to be in both, right? So the morning class is suitable for people in Europe and Africa as well, while the evening class is suitable for people in North America, Canada, and US, okay? So you choose one and then run with that exact one. Then on Sundays, you get what we call watch me do it videos, self-paced videos that you are expected to watch to have better understanding of things that have been discussed before. Okay, I hope you understand who a business analyst is. Now, the next one is, what if you're not in the country? They are all virtual classes. So all the classes are virtual. I mean, on this call, I can tell you that everybody here is scattered across different globes, different countries rather. If you joined earlier when we were doing introduction, we'll have people from Russia, people from UK, people from US, people from Jamaica, Ghana, Nigeria, different countries. And that is the beauty of tech, because it is a global language, which means no matter where you are, you have the opportunity to also be able to break into it. Now, for the agile project managers, these guys are the people that serve as coach and leaders in a project management team. Okay, they serve as coach and leaders in a project management team. And the responsibility is to make sure that everyone is working on the project using agile methodologies. How do you work iteratively on each of those projects that you've been given to? So they serve as coach and leaders. We call it the no-code area in tech, because they're not writing anything technical. They're not doing anything coding related. It is purely no-code area in the tech ecosystem. And the things that you will be learning is also introduction to project management, the methods and structures that exist. Then you have understanding of the skills and how to also communicate. And of course, the foundations of Agile and Scrum. Okay, you want to dive deep to learn the different Scrum artifacts and framework, your increments, your sprints, and of course, your product backlog. So let me just explain product backlog. For instance, what these guys are expected to do is, if you want to cook jollof rice right now, right? First of all, you identify different ingredients that you need to make jollof rice. You need your rice, you need your oil, you need your water, you need your onion, pepper, and so on and so forth. And then possibly keep it in the kitchen. That's the same way you are going to expect to identify the different backlogs that you need for you to build a platform. Let's say you want to build an internet banking platform, all right? Your responsibility is to identify with your team those different things that you guys need to put to bring that into life. You need your landing page, you need your username, you need your password, you need all those different things. Now, once you've identified it, you place it in your product backlog. Then one after the other, you are picking one and pushing to sprints. Sprint is just a time period that you've identified to work on a particular task. Now, this is simply what you will be doing also. Okay, you also be walk through advanced Scrum and Agile practices and how to use Jira and Confluence for project management. And of course, how you can also be able to utilize the Kanban boards for workflow management, right? Then you have Nexus Skilled Scrum, how you manage multiple projects iteratively, and everything that you learn will prepare you for your professional Scrum Master examination. Now, the learning timeline is also for 4 months, but you're learning immersively in the classroom for 3 months. And then you have an internship experience for 1 month. The class holds on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays and Sundays. So Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and then Sundays, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. West African time. So there's only one timing for Agile project managers. All right, I hope we are still here, and I hope I've been able to touch base on your own program. All right, so I'm going to dive into the data guys. All right, so when we talk about data analytics, all right, these people are going into companies to make sense of their data. For instance, using this call, let's say we had 200 people that joined this call, and the data analysts have come to tell us that, oh, we had 100 people join from UK, we had 50 people join from US, we had so and so people join us from different countries. Now, this is the data analyst telling us what happened. Okay, the data analyst is telling us what happened. He's also going to go the step to tell us why it happened. Okay, because what happened is not enough. He's told us, oh, we had some people join us from different countries. Now, why did that happen? So he's expected to also look at the other data sets that exist in the company to make sense of that exact information. Possibly he'll look at the marketing data and he noticed that, oh, the marketing guys use 50% of their budget to market in US. And they use the other 20% in Canada, the other 20% in UK, and the remaining 10% in the other countries. So simply put, it made the people that are joining the program to be more from the US market. So from there, you can easily tell the management that if we are looking to improve the numbers in UK, Canada, that means we need to also improve in our marketing style in those places. Now, this is the data analyst telling the company what happened and why it happened. And that is descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics. So you're going to be handling two basic aspects of analytics, descriptive and diagnostic. What happened and why it happened. And how you can be able to answer all these questions is, first of all, understanding problem solving. Okay, you need to be able to solve problems, the different techniques that you can use to solve a problem. Then you need to understand Excel from beginner level to intermediate level. How do you use your rows, your column? What is Excel? The different functions and formulas that exist in Excel. Then move on to your pivot chart and, of course, your pivot table. So you need to have all this general understanding. Then move on to SQL. How do you query the database and bring out the data? You need to learn the language of the database. Then Power BI and Tableau is for you to be able to visualize your data and make it be visually appealing to your stakeholders. You also learn data storytelling and ChatGPT for analytics, and of course, Microsoft Fabrics. The learning timeline is for 4 months, where you learn immersively in the classroom for 3 months, and then have an internship experience with us for 1 month. The class holds on Saturdays alone, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and then the evening class, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. Then evenings, then on Sundays rather, you get your self-paced Watch Me Do It videos. Now, who are the data scientists? So data scientists are like the senior brothers to data analysts, right? They're like the senior brothers. So these guys go a step further to do what we call predictive analytics. Remember, the data analyst answered two basic questions: what happened and why it happened. Descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics. The scientist is going a step further to answer predictive analytics, which is what is going to happen in the future. They tell the future. And how they make this to happen is by understanding statistics. Okay, so we are now moving into proper statistics and arithmetic and calculations. Okay, you also understand forecasting and predictive analytics. All right, before you now move into Tableau and also SQL. Now you will enter the programming languages. So you learn Python programming. For you to be able to build your models, you need to learn Python programming. You also learn machine learning. You also learn computer vision. So you see where the differences are. You are moving into the coding aspects of data that will allow you to make predictions. So the learning timeline also is for 4 months, where you learn massively in the classroom for 3 months and then intern with us for 1 month. The class is the same, morning 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then evening 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Then Sundays, you also get a watch me do it video. Then the other one is now the data engineers. So these people are entirely different from these two guys that I mentioned. They are like the uncles to these people, all right? They're like the uncles to the data analysts and data scientists. And their responsibility is to make sure that data is available for data analysts and scientists to work with. So they're expected to build different pipelines to collect data and make sure it is available in the database and to any platform that needs it. So let's use an example of plumbers in our construction companies, right? So plumbers are connecting the water in this the sink, the one in the shower, the one in the water system, the one from the tap, and channel everything to the tank. That once you open it from anywhere, this is flowing from the tank direct to that exact opening that you've just made. Now, this is how data engineers also build pipelines to make sure that data is also connected to the database. For instance, you're still using the financial sector as an example. Some people open accounts through social media. Some open accounts through internet banking. Some open through mobile apps. Some open physically. But as a customer, you want at any point to open your mobile app, you want to see your money complete. You don't want to hear, oh, because you opened your account through social media, you can only get your balance through social media. It doesn't work like that. So there is need for all those data to be synced and stored somewhere. So someone is building all those architecture and pipeline to make sure that it flows seamlessly. So things that you learn as a data engineer is, of course, introduction to data engineering, where you understand the different data architecture and data lifecycle management. Then you move on to SQL. How do you put data into the database for data analysts and scientists to work on it? Then you also learn Python programming and, of course, Linux operating system. So it's no more Windows operating system that you will be learning or Mac operating system. You will have understanding of Linux operating system. You will learn how to build a custom ETL pipeline, all right? How do you extract data from a platform? How do you transform it in your integrated development environment that can be your Google Colab or your Jupyter Notebook? And then how do you load it to a database, right? And for you to be able to automate all these processes, you need to know Apache Spark and Apache Airflow. You also have good understanding of GCP Cloud Engineering and, of course, Azure Cloud Engineering. So the learning timeline for data engineers is for 5 months, right? It is for 5 months. You learn in the classroom for 3 months, and then you have an internship experience with us for 2 months. The class is only one on Saturdays, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. West African time, okay? And then on Sundays, we get a self-paced watch me do it videos to introduce you to deeper concepts. I hope we are still following me to this very moment, that we are not sleeping and that we've not dropped off yet. Hope we are writing down some of these conversations so that we can be able to ask constructive questions. Fantastic from Yemi. Thank you for answering. Thank you, Ishmael. All right. Thank you, Omar. Thank you, Buki. Now, for financial analysts and HR analysts, these people are now like cousins to data analysts, right? They're like the cousins to data analysts. They learn the same thing that a data analyst will learn. So from problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL, It's the same thing for data analyst, financial analyst, and HR analyst. But why the data analyst is now going deeper into tabling? You, as a financial analyst, you're now moving into accounting fundamentals. How do you build your income statement, your cash flow, and your balance sheet? That's your three segments for financial accounts, right? How do you build all those things using Excel? Okay, how do you build a financial model to show projections of what is going to happen in this business till 2025 or maybe 2030, right? How do you perform your valuations and how do you do your sensitivity and scenario analysis? For the HR guys, they are now moving into how to perform performance evaluation using all those Excel. How do you build your life cycle and metrics using Power BI? And also, how do you automate your reports using SQL from the database directly? And of course, you then have to build your case and create action. So instead of you as HR professional to be performing exit interviews, from your analysis, you've seen that you need to be doing stay interviews. It means that anybody in your company, you realize that once they get to 3 years in your company, they resign. Once they get to 3 years, they resign. I mean, you've seen it over and over again. You've got the data points. It means that once someone is getting to 2 years, 10 months, you need to start having conversation with the person. Oh, what do we need to do to make your stay here better? So these are things that you learn to improve the businesses and to have the project-based knowledge that you need. Remember, all these key learning areas that I'm talking about, it is from beginner level to intermediate level. Okay, it is from beginning level to intermediate level, which means even if you have zero experience those places, we walk you through from ground level till you understand it. Okay, the learning timeline for both of them is also the same 4 months. You learn immersively in the classroom for 3 months, and then you have an internship experience with us for 1 month. Then the class holds on Saturdays, morning class 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., evening class 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. On Sundays, you get a self-paced watch me do it videos that's going to introduce you to deeper concepts. Okay, now the final guys, I don't know what I would call these guys, the grandfather of them all. I don't want us to misunderstand the terminologies actually, but these other people now, the cybersecurity guys. So these people, they protect the digital assets of the company. So they are there to protect the digital assets of the company. The same way that you personally, you are protecting your WhatsApp. You are, locking your WhatsApp and using facial recognition to open it. Someone also needs to be able to protect all the assets that companies have. And that's where these guys come in, the cybersecurity guys. So you will learn introduction to cybersecurity and also the foundations of computing and networking. This is because we know that there are different people coming from different backgrounds. You may not have the initial computing and networking knowledge. So that exact place, you're learning your LAN, you're learning your WAN, you're learning your IPs, your subnetting, and different things. Okay, before you now move into information security principle. So as a cybersecurity professional, there are these 3 main principles on which everything that you will be learning is hinged on. And that is confidentiality. I nearly lost my thoughts. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. Okay, so the CIA triad, we call it the triangle of cybersecurity. You need to be able to have that knowledge, confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. So these things is going to guide every other thing that you will be learning in cybersecurity. They now move into your offensive and defensive cybersecurity, right? How do you perform an attack? And then how do you also defend an attack? How do you perform your vulnerability assessment? Remember, we are learning tools with respect to this. For instance, with respect to your scanning, vulnerability scanning, you're learning how to use Nmap and how to use Nexus to scan vulnerabilities. With respect to exploitation, you're learning how to use Metasploit for your exploitation. When you move to web and application security, you're learning how to use Bob Suits for your web and application exploitation. And then for network security, you're learning Wireshark for how to build your network topologies. Okay, so all those key learning areas, you have a particular tools that are learning. Then, of course, you learn Splunk, which is a CM2, and Kali Linux, and of course, your VMware and VirtualBox for you to be able to host your own virtual lab and be able to work from your virtual lab. Then you also have full understanding of incident response and forensics. And of course, cybersecurity policies and compliance, which is more of the GRC. So by the time you are done learning cybersecurity, you will be grounded in 4 basic career paths. You can work as a SOC analyst, you can work as a penetration tester, you can work as a threat intelligence officer, and you can also work as a GRC professional. So these 4 different domains, you can easily get into it. I hope I've been able to touch everyone's career path right now, because that I'm sure I've touched base with all the career paths that we have here. I hope I've touched all the career paths that I've mentioned before. Okay, fantastic. Now, the next thing is for me to just walk you through how you can start your own journey. And all these things that I've been saying now, trust me, it always seems impossible until it is done. All right. When we do all these conversations, people always say, oh, this thing is sounding too good to be true. And that's why we always attach some of our past students that have moved from our classroom to landing jobs. So that personally, from your own side, you can be able to search for them on LinkedIn and reach out to them and ask them, oh, how was your own experience? So we don't put their what's it called, their contact details here, so that we can also be able to protect their own personal data. But you can search for them on LinkedIn. I mean, if you go to LinkedIn and type Tenalytics and search on people, you're going to see more than 2,000 people that have been here with us at Tenalytics. And you can easily reach out to any of them and ask them how their own experience was. You can see Joel. Joel did data engineering and he got a role. Vivian has moved into 2 different roles since she did her own program. Of course, Oluwadamilare also got a job. Ikmat, she's always my best student, best alumni, right? And when you hear her story, she always speaks from a place of she moved from being a full-time housewife into landing 2 roles. So her story is very, very intriguing, because if you hear her, 1 month into the program, okay, I may play her video before we are done. 1 month into the program, she got a job, right? But she was not able to take it because she had limited working time in UK. And then when she finished, she was now struggling to land a role. But 2 months after, she got 2 visa-sponsored jobs that she now had to select the one that she wants to move into. So it's also about perseverance, because sometimes the no's are going to definitely come. You're going to apply to a job. It doesn't mean that once you apply, you're going to get it. It's now the perseverance for you to now continuously keep applying. Okay, now all these are success stories of past people. So when you get the slide, you can go through it. This is a class where our past students came back to the sessions and they were talking to people. So instead of me speaking, the past students was a question and answer session that they were now answering people's questions. Okay, you can go through it and also hear what they had to say. All these are success stories of people that have been able to make this move before now. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the beauty is now that our next cohort is starting in 2 weeks' time, and that is December 7th. Like I said, that you want to 2025 to start up in an amazing manner, okay, it's to start right now. And the next one is starting by 7th December 2024. And for you to get access to this, you need to be able to register. So all our courses is going for $750 rather, not thousand. $750. All right, it is not free. Right, everything I've mentioned, it is not free. It's a paid program where you pay $750, but currently we'll have a 20% discount for the first 20 people to register for any of these classes. Okay, and I can assure you that that 20 spot is almost gone. Right, so how you can be able to secure your spot is for you to simply click on the main stack link that my colleagues just dropped in the chat box. Okay, once you click on it, it's going to bring you to Tenalytics Enrollment Center. And what you have to do is scroll down and look for the program that you want to join. Okay, scroll down and look for the program that you want to join. So it's here. So simply click on ready checkout page for you. So right here, you can see that the available seat right now is just 4, which means 16, not even 4. I know data analytics will opened up 30 spots, which means 26 seats has been taken here. And once these 4 seats are gone, the price goes back to $750, right? So right now, it is 600 discounted, but once that available seats are taken, it reverses back to the original price. And you have the option to make payments in installments. You can decide that you want to pay one-off. So one-off, you can pay $600, but if you want to pay in 2 installments, you can click on the 2 installment option and make payments. Or if you want to pay in 3 installments, you can click on 3 monthly installments, which is 200, 200, 200, and it's going to also apply. So once you select the breakdown that works for you perfectly, simply click on proceed to pay, right? And it's now going to show you that your first payment is due today, that you're trying to make the payments. The next one is due by 23rd of December, while the last one is due by 23rd of January 2025. So simply click on proceed and fill in your details, okay? And fill in your details. And then after that, just click on pay for the product. Okay, so no matter the country that you are trying to make payments from, automatically it converts that $200 to your local currency and picks the equivalence from your card. So if you're trying to make payments from UK, it converts these $200 to pounds, which would be around 166 pounds. If you're trying to pay from Germany, it converts it to euro and takes the equivalent as well. If you're trying to pay from Nigeria, it converts it to naira and takes the equivalent from your NGN card. So it picks payments from all cards, all right? And then afterwards, when you are done, come back to this page and upload your receipt. Now, I know someone mentioned what if he or she wants to start in January. There's option for you to defer for 1 month, okay? There's option for you to defer for 1 month, which means you don't want to start by December 7th, you want to start in January. That also applies. So when you're uploading your receipts, you'll be asked, when do you want to start? Either December 7th or January 4th. So you can only defer for 1 month. You can't defer beyond January because nobody knows how 2025 is going to be yet. So we're going to look at it and see how the pricing is going to play. But for now, the payments for now that we're taking is fully for December and January. So you can decide you want to defer your own starting date instead of December 7th, they want to start by January 4th. Because we have new cohorts that start every first Saturday of each month. So you can be able to also leverage that option if you are looking to start by January rather. I hope I've been able to address all this. Now remember, the discount is not for everyone. It's just for the first 20. And for data alone, we have only 4 spots remaining. And what happens when we have sessions like this is that it's easily filled up. Okay, it's easily filled up once we have sessions like this. So I would advise you to secure your spots, okay, and then get in first. If you want to have discussion with us for us to find a path that suits you, a personal consultation, you can also book it. A link will be shared in your WhatsApp group for you to book a free consultation for us to find a befitting career path for you. So we're going to look at your background and now look for the one that suits you. But instead of you to wait till you have this discussion, I would advise you to secure your spot. When you are asked to select the exact path that you want to go into, simply select, I want to speak with an expert, all right? I want to speak with an expert so that we'll know that we'll bring you to the clarity call and have conversations with you. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to take questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat box, or you can use the raise hand icon and I will call you up to speak. Okay, you can use the raise hand icon or you can drop it in the chat box and I will call you up to speak. So let me quickly go through this and see some of the questions that we have. Okay, Caleb, do you have any training option for project management? I talked about agile project managers, Caleb. So it's not just project management. We are specialized and streamlined to agile methodologies. Because what we've seen is that companies are looking for people that work using agile methods. So you are going to be learning agile project management. Okay. Next one is, do you have training in cloud engineering or is it done under data engineering? Of course. So cloud engineering is under data engineering. You have your GCP and also have your Azure. Okay, reward-wise, which one among data science or engineer or cloud engineer earns higher? Now, George, easily speaking, if I'm a data analyst and I'm trying to start up from maybe a health sector, and you're a data analyst and you're trying to start off maybe from a fintech or oil and gas, payment is definitely different. So it boils down to the sector of the economy that you are trying to start up your own from. But all the courses that we offer, they all give you high rewarding salary. It's just like you saying, okay, for me to, should I be a medical doctor? Should I be an engineer? All right. So all those courses, they all give you high rewarding salary if you want to go that route. But it's now down to the one that suits you. So what I always advise people is to go to the one that suits their personality, because all of them will always give you high rewarding salary. Please, what is the basic education to start any of these courses? Godwin, amazing. So all the courses are beginner friendly. Even if you have zero knowledge in it, we'll have people that have transitioned without a university degree. In fact, the CTO of one of the fintechs I worked with before, he didn't have any university degree. It was on the job after he's now a CTO that he now had to go back to university to get a degree. So if you are able to learn all this, remember I said they are all skill and competence based. Okay, so once you have the skill and competence, you can be able to break into the tech industry. Can someone do data science without first data analytics? Fantastic question, Chibike. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I've had people that transition instantly to data science. But if you are looking to not go into coding, I advise you stick to data analytics, because you need to also be in a place where when the going gets tough, you will know that, oh, I'm the one that said I want to be here. Okay, because at a point, data science, you're going to start moving into coding. Okay, but you can comfortably be able to do it. I've had someone move from pharmacy into becoming a data scientist. How long is the training? Omola day. Are you sure you've been here? Okay, so most of our training are 4 months, 5 months. Okay, where you learn massively in the classroom for 3 months and then have an internship experience with us. It depends on the specific of the ESA program. That's what's going to determine your own learning timeline. Does your training come with any professional certification? I said this at the beginning of this class, that someone is still going to ask me about this certification. Now, by the end of this training, you will get a certification that you are certified, trained in this exact manner, in this exact program rather. But remember, nobody cares about your certificates. Nobody cares. What everybody wants is, do you have the skill and competence to do these things? Right? Nobody cares. But we are going to give you the certificate. Agile method, same as Prince2, or what does the Prince2 mean? People talk more of that. So Prince2 is a different aspect of project management. Okay. So it's just like in the project management space, there are some people that may join into construction management. You have Agile, you have Kanban. So there are different frameworks. So Prince2 is just a framework under project management, right? But what we offer fully is Agile methodology, Agile project management rather. How will the industrial placement take place without being around you? All our programs are virtual. So the internship is also virtual, where you're now working on projects with your colleagues. The same way, for instance, Analytics, we are scattered across the globe. We have people in Canada, we have people in UK, we have people in Nigeria, we have people in Ghana, we have people in Kenya, but everyone is working from their locations. All right. So that same way, we are also going to be working with your own people scattered across different locations. So, Kayode, if you're looking to break into the tech industry, you also need to learn how to work virtually, unless you want to be going to the office. Personally, the tech ecosystem, nobody wants to come to the office. I hope that makes sense to you, Kayode. Of all the skills you have explained, which one is simple and high paying that one can quickly get the job at Deniro? Now, which one is simple? Simple is relative. For someone that is a lawyer that is trying to break into the career path, they can easily fit into a place that requires them to talk more. They might not be able to fit into the place that you have arithmetic. So you need to be able to look at specifically your background and find what is simple for you. Okay, and that's why I mentioned that we have one-on-one clarity that happens through the week. Okay, it's going to be posted in your WhatsApp groups. So if you want to have that specific discussion with us to find a career path for you, you will not be able to do it on this call. So make sure you book it on your calendar, and then from tomorrow, we'll start having all those one-on-one conversations. But first, make sure that you secure your spot so that by the time you are done, you're not going to be seeing that the price has increased to 750 because the spots are taken. All right. So secure your spots, and then you can now come to the clarity call and we'll have those conversations. For someone who has a project management certification, can you get jobs as an agile PM? Tech Hills. Now, your certification that you have is simply a certification. Do you know agile methodology? That's the question. Do you know how to use Jira? Do you know how to use Confluence? Do you know how to build your product backlog? It's a skill and competence-based environment. It is not a certification-based environment. In our Agile program, we have a lot of people that are PMP certified, a lot of people that have PSM certifications, but they came back to learn all those skills. Because for you to learn roles in UK, US, Canada, it's not about your certificate. It's simply your skill and the competence that you have. Is there any? And we've trained someone that is 20. So you can simply also be able to get into it. All right, I think I've been able to, there's a 4 months program includes certification for all the courses, so you just knowledge, skill, and experience. So it includes the certification. Do you help to get a job after the course? Now, I talked about the employability services where we walk you through the different job boards that exist. We scrape job boards and even give you available jobs for you to apply. But the responsibility of applying to job rests on you, Deborah. So all we can do is to give you the technical skills, give you the employability skills, CV review sessions, LinkedIn optimization sessions, how to navigate the job market, interview prep sessions. We even scrape different job boards that are paid for and give you, but we are not going to apply to jobs for you. So the responsibility of applying to job rests solely on you, and that's where people fall off. Because I always tell everyone that applying to a job is a job on its own. Can someone with little knowledge of Excel go into data analytics today? 100%. So people with even zero knowledge, we train them because it's a class from basic level to expert level. So even if before now you understand how to write your sum if, we are still going to teach you, right? Because there are people that might be in that class that do not understand. So it's from basic level to expert level. Someone currently studying business might not be enough for me to make a decision for you, right? So we'll have one-on-one clarity calls where it's just going to be me and you, and we're going to be talking, and others that will just be here to also learn. Okay, so make sure you book it and then be able to have access to it. Mr. Adeza said discount is for everyone registering between now and December and not just 20 first people, like you said, Christabella. Fantastic. Now, I'm sure there's no how Adeza is going to say that it's for everyone because we understand the business fully. The discount is for the first 20 people to join any of those programs, right? Because we have already discounted it and it's already a business, a loss we are willing to, chest from our own side, right? But once the 20 spot is filled up, the price goes back to the full pricing rather. So it's not till December, it is the spot itself. So if the spot fills this night, the price goes back to the full amount. I don't know if that makes sense to Christabel. You may want to go and hear what Adisa said again, because I'm sure he's not going to say something that is different from what I am saying right now. Okay, I think there are a lot of questions. I notice people in UK speak more French, so does Agile methodology help in PM? Fantastic. Like I mentioned before, I know I've touched base with that. I have my first degree in English. Okay, do you help in getting job after course? I've answered that. Okay, fantastic. I mean, there are a lot of questions here. Let me check if there are hands raised so that I'll ask people that raise their hands to unmute. Okay, hi, Ismail. Please go ahead and speak. I've asked you to unmute. Hi, Ishmael. I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead and speak.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate your lectures today. Like very amazing, and you have well presentation, and I really love that. So actually, I have done cybersecurity before, and from what I've learned, because I've seen many groups that I can actually learn these things, like what I really want to learn from you people. So I've seen many groups, but I just understand something because you mentioned something that attracted my attention to your lecture. There, nobody cares about your certification. So all they care about is what you have upstairs. And you showed us some projects that your students have done before, which I really found amazing. So, and I can tell you that really thankful.
Ismail, I'm struggling to hear you. I don't think it's from my side. I can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I said, so if you can have some projects, it's equally like you have experience in that field. So now, so I've done cybersecurity, and I wanted to ask a question. If one is doing cyber data engineering, will the person be able to dive in? Will the person be able to secure job in data science or data analytics? So that is my question. So because
Okay.
I don't believe, I believe something. I believe nothing is impossible. So if you have passion for it, you will definitely get it. You understand? Like
Yeah.
when we were doing our cyber security, most of the people, because they were not prepared, so they just have to leave the class because it was too much for them. But once you are focused and you really want to do it, you just have to have the mindset that I want to do it and I can actually do it. People that are doing it, you don't have to, you just have to be determined. So I don't believe nothing is impossible, like you said, like, until it is done. So I just want to ask the question that if one is doing data engineering, will the person be able to secure jobs in data science, or and will the person be able to still know all what data scientists are known for? So that is my question. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Ismail. Now, for a data engineer, it might be hard for you to secure a role as a data analyst. All right. It might be hard for you to secure a role as a data analyst. For data analyst, basically, it will require you to do things, visualizations. It will require you to do analysis. A data engineer may not be able to perform all those analyses. All right. So fully, you can get roles as a data scientist when it boils down to someone that can use Python. But data scientists, they also utilize Python. Maybe you did data engineering and there's a role that what you just requested is for someone that can use Python to work on projects. As a data engineer, you can comfortably apply to those roles, right? The same thing as a data scientist, there are some things that will require you to just use Excel for data analytics or and so on and so forth, which means a data scientist can apply to roles that exist in data analyst, some roles, right? A data engineer can also apply to some roles that exist in data science. I hope that answers your question, right? But a data engineer cannot actually apply to a role that exists in data analytics because a data engineer can't really do all those Excel, Power BI, unless he also learns all those skills for himself. I hope that answers your question. Okay, I think the next person that the hand is up is Pius. Pius, please, I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead, Pius. Hi, Pius, are you there? Hi, Pius, I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead. Wow, there are a lot of hands raised now. Okay, Pius, you are not unmuting. I'm going to move to the next person. Pius, I've asked you to unmute again. Please go ahead. All right. Hi, Deborah. I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon from here. Good afternoon.
Hello, this is Pius.
Pius, you have to wait right now. Okay, you can go ahead, Pius. Deborah has muted. Pius, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity. Just a quick question. For someone with accounting background and maybe banking, which one would you advise? Data scientist or financial analyst?
Oh, well, I think I'll use you to do an example. Don't mute yet. Now, as a banker, which department were you in? All right. So what were you working on? For us, because banking is very broad. So for us to be able to tell you for you.
Financial control and reporting.
All right, financial control and reporting, fantastic. It means that you've worked financial control and reporting. You've worked a lot with data, financial data. What's your first degree like, Pius?
Accounting.
All right. Do you have any second degree?
Master's Business Administration.
All right.
Marketing.
Now, okay, fantastic. Why I asked you this is for us to be able to also get some information. And are you looking to run away from numbers, or do you still love the numbers thing that you are doing?
I'm indifferent. It's okay.
All right. So easily for you, you can fit into financial analytics because of your accounting background, and you have that ease of transitioning, which means when you are speaking that you as financial analyst, it's not just at this point that you're transitioning. Even what you are doing in the bank, we're going to bring out all those financial analyst things that you did that it looks like you've been a financial analyst all this while. All right, so financial analytics will be easily fitting for you. All right, you can also work as a business analyst because of your business administration background as well. Now, business analysis will require you to do lots of talking, be in meetings, doing stakeholder analysis, and all those kind of things, right? So if you're not someone that wants to be in lots of meetings, talk to every single stakeholder in your company to get your requirements gathering and, of course, elicit information, then business analysis is off. All right? We still have data analytics. And also, you can also move into data analytics. So for all career paths has access to data analytics because one way or the other, we've analyzed data without knowing. So for you, Pius, you have access to 3 actual career paths: financial analytics, business analysis, and of course, data analytics easily. But if you want to get into the other sides, you can also get into them like data science, but they don't have that direct link to you. Okay, I don't know if you understand the picture I'm trying to paint. So the ones that have direct link to you is financial analytics, data analytics, and then business analysis. So if you want to continuously be in the financial space, you want to move into investment banking, pricing officer, all those kind of things, they might be looking towards financial analytics. But if you want to open up yourself to be able to also be in different sectors, then you should be looking at data analytics. And if you're looking to move away from everything numbers, you want to become a stakeholder analyst, be analyzing businesses, looking at improving the processes, communication entire. If you are someone that speaks easily, they should not be looking at business analysis. These are the easier one. But you can also be a data scientist. But that means you're now moving towards the coding aspect of data. All right. If you have a strong will that you want to move into data science, it's also possible. So from all this my explanation, which one do you think you can?
I would love to move into business analytics, but the
Pius, I didn't hear what you said.
I would love to move into business analytics, but if the space is already filled up, so maybe I will just go for financial analyst. The space is already filled up.
What do you mean by the space?
Okay, the 20, yes, the 20 threshold that's already, I checked it for business analyst, unless you want to give me some exception. You're not clear, you know?
Wow. Well, that means people on this, what do this? Okay, I think Pius has muted himself. All right, so Pius, I'm going to speak again. All right, so what I'm saying is that
I'm here.
You can, all right, yeah. All right, so what I'll do for you is secure your spot through a different career path. And then when you upload your receipts, you can easily fill in that you want to speak to an expert, and then we'll not change it from back end for you. Right, so that's what we can do for everyone that is on this call. All right, so if one that you're trying to get into is already filled, secure your spot using a different career path. And then when you're uploading your receipts, select that you want to speak to an expert. So that's how we're going to know people that came for our masterclass. So that might be an exception that we'll have for people that heard things that we said tonight. Because after sessions like this, such spots are easily filled up, which is, I didn't even know that business analysis is filled. So please secure with a different career path and then try to upload your receipts. But once all the career paths has attained that 2020, then that means that you may have to pay the full pricing, which is why I always advise people to try and secure that spot as fast as possible. Okay, so I'm just going to take 2 more hands because a lot of hands are up and we may not be able to finish this night. So if your question is around us finding your own career path, please, from this night, a link will be shared to your different groups for you to book a free consultation. We are going to be there to speak to you, right? So that we don't keep everyone here. So we'll speak there, hear from you, hear where you are coming from, your experience, so that we can be able to find your own career path. So if what you want to ask is part of it, just use that and lower your hands more, and then book. Hi, Deborah, I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, bro. Thank you so much for all you do. So these are my questions. Number one, can someone transition from a medical background to cybersecurity? Is it possible? And so my second question is this: upon checking the key learning for cybersecurity, I see that you have like 12 things itemized there that we're going to be studying. And I'm looking at the time frame: 3 months, learning 3 months, intern for 1 month, and I'm contemplating, is it going to be enough? Do you think it's enough, or you're not going to cover all these things? Do I need to just select like a niche of what I want in these 12 things, or it comprises of all the 12 things itemized here? So these are my questions. Thank you.
All right, so I think I'll start from the back. Don't mute yet so that we can still converse. All right.
Oh, okay.
So I'll start from the back. So all the 12 items here will be handled. All right. We are not separating people into different programs. That's one. Then number 2 is that what we are teaching you is to help you land a job. Now,
to land a job.
Exactly. The truth is that nobody's going to sit down and teach you everything that you need to know on a tool. For instance, even Power BI now. Power BI each month, they roll out a new thing. Each month, they roll out a new thing, which means if you learned something last month, by this month, your own is already stale. Not like it's a stale, but there's a new thing.
Sorry, you are breaking.
So nobody's going to teach you everything. Wow, that's strange. Sorry, let me use my... Can you hear me now? Hi, Deborah, can you hear me now? Oh, I think Deborah has muted. Okay, so what I was also saying is that nobody's going to teach you everything that... Okay, nobody's going to teach you everything that you need to know. We'll teach you the one that is going to help you land a job, because that's the most important thing. Now, on the job, that's where you build your expertise. On the job, that's where you now grow constantly. Because, for instance, Excel, I can tell you that a lot of people that use Excel on day-to-day activities, but they've never used VBA or macros. Now, all these things also exist in Excel. But if you now go to, you want to start learning VBAs and macro, on the job, you may never use VBA. You will not even use VBA and macros for anything on the job, right? So that's part of why it is structured like that. I mean, some people will tell you that 4 months is small. Another person will tell you that 6 months is too much, okay? So it's into how you are learning with all those project-based approach. Now, to your first question, which is around someone coming from a health background and cybersecurity. Now, clearly looking at it, Deborah, it will be hard. Yes. It will be hard. Is it possible? Yes. But it's going to be hard for that person. It means that if others are giving ×1, you are going to be giving ×10 for you to be able to cover things that they're talking about. That's the thing there. So you may want to...
Is it just the terminologies that make it hard, or what?
No, it's not the terminology. The practical aspects of it. Because remember, they are all project practical based. It's not theory class. So you are working on things that might even be looking like coding. As a cybersecurity person, you are looking at... Exactly. So you are not coding, but when you use Nmap and Nexus, you are writing scripts also. And when people coming from health, sometimes they don't easily, align to all those scripts writing, code writing easily. Yeah.
Sorry, but the number one said introduction to cybersecurity. The number one said introduction. So
exactly. So like like I mentioned,
That
you
should
can
help.
100% get into it, Deborah. No, just listen to me. You can get into it, but if others are giving ×2, you need to give extra for you to be able to catch up. All right, because they already have. For instance, I studied civil engineering. As an engineer trying to break into some of these tech career paths, there are some soft landings I may have. But for someone coming from a fancy background, they may not have that initial competing skills for them to easily land into it. So it means that if I'm spending maybe 3 hours every week to practice on my own, you, Deborah, have to spend maybe 6 hours on your own to practice. So when you now don't do all those extra, that's where it becomes hard for you. And when you don't flow easily, you can easily fall off from the class and it becomes very, very, very hard for you to come back. So it will require, you can do it, but you need to be ready.
Wow, you're breaking.
They want to give in the extra for you to move into it. For them to land into data analytics, into those soft landing to enter the tech ecosystem. And then from there, you can now climb up the ladder easily. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Deborah.
It does. Thank you so much.
All right. So for every other person, it might be hard for us to take all these things. I have close to 15 hands raised here. And that means we're going to sleep here tonight. Right. So that's why I said, please, a link will be shared to our group chats. Let's use it. And then we'll have those one-on-one conversations. So I'll just pick Opeyemi and Adewale. I hope it's not specific based question that requires your own career path because it's going to take a while. Hi, Opeyemi, I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, so I actually didn't join from the beginning, but I was able to pick one or two from your training section. So my first question is, you said the data analytics is going to take about 3 months or 4 months, I'm not sure. And the 3 months is going to be based on practical, and 1 month is going to be on the project or something. So my question is, based on job applications, some of these job requires experiences that are more than that. So are we able to fit that into the job application for them to know that, yes, we are capable of taking up the job, for us to be able to take the job? And also, if eventually, is it possible for somebody to switch in between the training as well? Maybe if I feel like I don't want to take up data analytics again, I want to go into financial analyst. The reason I'm asking is because I'm not sure of the career path to choose based on my past experiences on the places I've worked with. So that's why I just want to, yeah, that's my question.
All right, so don't mute yet, Opeyemi. What's your background like? Where are you coming from?
Okay, first of all, I've studied banking and finance. It was just my OND before I transitioned into business education. And after that,
yes, please, Opeyemi. So, Opeyemi, I think I heard what you said, that you've worked as a banking and finance person. Now, what we always do when we talk about that ease of transition, which is why I always ask of background for you to choose where we are transitioning into, is for us to be able to have transferable skills. Now, companies always want experience. You need to be able to optimize things done before and make it look screen. I'm currently showing someone that transitioned to cybersecurity. At this point, this is where he was learning cybersecurity with us. But those things that he did before, we had to look at it, and then he had to craft out things that he did that relates to cybersecurity. So he had to now optimize all of them. Okay, so if you look at his background, he's been in this space since 2019. But remember, this is the point where he's trying to transition to cybersecurity. But he will now look back into things that he done before and bring out things that he did that relates to cybersecurity in that exact place and optimize them to make it look like he's been in those space. So that's what I always talk about, where you are coming from. So that will be that ease of transitioning, so that you can comfortably be able to speak that, oh, you being the cyber person is actually still even training with us. So it's all about packaging, like I said also. I hope that answers your question, Opeyemi. So it's all about looking at where you're coming from and then optimizing all those initial years of experience as well. So lastly, Adewale, please, I've asked you to unmute. Please go ahead with your question. Please, the person, we may not be able to take your hand today. Hi, Adewale, please go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for all your analysis. Hello, I'm speaking. Hello. Hello.
Yes,
hello.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Go ahead, Adewale.
Can you hear me? Okay, okay. I said thank you for all your analysis. My question is from someone that is coming. My background is I read my mass comm, and what career path can you direct me to?
All right. So I know I've said that when it comes to this, we need to look at things extensively from your side. And we're not going to answer everyone's question tonight pertaining to where they're coming from. Just book the one-on-one conversation and we'll take it up from there. Okay. But officially looking at where you're coming from, Adewale, I still have to ask you a couple of questions for me to know where you are coming from to make a definite, recommendation for you. But most mass communicators, because they can speak easily, they can converse easily, tend to move towards business analysis, because communication is a very critical skill for business analysts. You need to be able to communicate to all stakeholders and be able to speak to everyone at any point in time. So that might be an easier option for you, but we may have to look at your background fully to make an informed decision. All right, so I guess every other person that their hand is up, their question is also tilted to how they can be able to, look at their own background and choose a career path for them. So I might stop taking questions, and then I'll definitely see every other person that books a one-on-one conversation. Please, what is the job support like with the training? I've talked about it before now, and George as well. You have access to your facilitators, you have access to your data coach, and of course, your class coordinators. So for job support, we provide you and teach you how to optimize your CV, LinkedIn optimization, interview prep sessions, and of course, recommendation and reference letters. We also give you jobs. We scrape different job boards and give you jobs to apply to, but we are not going to apply to jobs for you. So responsibility to apply to job. How do you get this project to build a portfolio as an Agile PM? So Tehills, like I said, all our projects are from live projects that we work on. So we also play in the contractual space. We have clients that reach out to us. So that's why I said our students are also consultants, right? So the only thing that we do is that we codify those data from our clients that students don't know they are working for a particular client, but you are working on a real life project. So we codify it and give to our students to also work on. So you will not have access to it unless you are part of our students. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, can you share the recorded link here as well if possible? Thanks. David, we may not be able to share the recorded link here because the class is not even over. It's when it's over and the group is now closed, that's when the video is now fully out, and then we can share it to everyone's email. I don't belong to any of the group chats. I got the link from my sister. Oh, wow. So David, definitely we are going to share the link to those group chats. So you may want to tell your sister to also look out for it, right? Or Elijah or anyone, you may want to drop the link to one of the communities for people to also join from here. All right, I can see someone saying I have a degree in this. We'll have to look at those ones when we come to the one-on-one conversation. Very interesting. Can I get the recording? Okay. Okay, thank you so much to everyone. I can see that I've answered almost everyone's question. So remember, for people that try to make payments, some people are already saying that the spots are going, and that's the truth, because even right here, I can see that the spots are going. So all these are everything that I can see on my screen, they are all success stories of our past students. Okay, of everything that you are seeing, all these 90-something pager, they are all success stories of our past students. Okay, and that's why we always talk about fill the attendance form so they can have access to it and personally go through all of them one after the other on your own, and then see how it also aligns for you easily. So you can see all the success stories of our past students and how they have been able to also make their own move. So you can go through it and see and hear what they had to say also. Okay, so all these are all success stories that I may not be able to touch on. Remember, the best time for you to get into the tech ecosystem is right now. In 2 weeks' time, we are having a hackathon. All right, so if you believe that you have what it takes, and that hackathon, $2,000 is down the line for someone to win. So you can also look for it on all our social platforms and register for the hackathon. If you can be able to analyze data already, you can come there, analyze data, and let's see what you've got. So in the past, we've done things before, 1 million up for grabs, and so many other things. We did one last year, $1,000 up for grabs as well. This year, $2,000 is up for grabs for someone, okay? And if you feel like you have what it takes, make sure you register for the hackathon. If you don't have what it takes yet, make sure you register for the program and be trained for you to be able to have access to some of these things. So remember, the best time for you to get into the tech ecosystem is always before now. 5 years ago, that's the best time to get in. The next best time for you to get in is today. And time waits for no one. If you want to boost your 2025, you have to start your own journey today. So on behalf of my founder, Adeza Suleiman, and my co-founder, Efemina Ikro, I say a very big thank you to each and every one of you for joining us on this session tonight. Please, the most important thing they have to do is to make sure that you make the decision to take the first step to learn. Because for you to land a job, 3 things are involved: learn, package, and apply. So thank you so much to everyone for being here to this very moment, and have a wonderful night rest. Cheers and bye for now, guys.